Stephanie. This is Fiction Files, the playlist where I share writing advice and do analyses of what works and doesn't work in fiction. Today, we're covering what not to write in your novel. Let's face it, there's plenty of advice out there on how to write well. But what about advice telling us what not to put down on paper? It's just as important to know what to avoid putting in your novel as it is knowing what to make sure you include, such as a good cast of characters, interesting plot points, and a fun immersive setting. We've all read novels with things we don't like, but there seem to be some universally hated things among readers, and these are things that you should try to avoid putting in your own writing. From small annoyances to bigger plot problems, these are some of the things we accidentally do in our writing that our readers will latch onto and end up stewing over, and they might miss the better parts of the writing. In this video, I'm going to cover 7 things you should not write into your novel. Number 1, I've got a secret. But I won't tell you for 300 pages. Oh, I'll drop obnoxious hints over and over and over again until you're so mad about what my secret is that you do not care one bit when I reveal it. I read a fantasy book like this recently where the main character was hiding part of her parentage, but kept dropping hints like they couldn't possibly find out what I was, or I'd be in serious danger, and then repeat that same idea over and over and over again. We finally find out she's a Nephilim, but then she drops a new secret. I can't tell them which angel my father is. I wanted to rip my hair out. It's one thing to hint at a secret or apply some foreshadowing, but when the character teases his or her secret so many times, it eliminates the shock value of the reveal. This is especially worse when the story is written in first-person point of view, as there's no reason the character would be hiding this information inside their own head. If you're going to have a character with a secret reveal, I'd recommend writing your story in third person or finding subtle ways to hint at the secret, like a conversation between the one with the secret and a close friend that has to be said in code or cut short to avoid the reveal. It'll feel more natural and won't draw as much attention as a character whose head we're in repeatedly alluding to the secret that they never fully show to the reader. Number 2, you don't know you're beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. You'll often see this in YA, where the main character is said to be plain and not conventionally attractive, yet every single person in the book is attracted to them or is jealous of them. One of the worst offenders of this is Bella Swan from Twilight. She has no personality and is constantly said to only be beautiful in Edward's eyes, but every single boy and even a teacher wants to get with her. Why exactly? If we're supposed to find a character attractive, that's okay, and it should be written. It's okay to write a character that's confident and owns their attractiveness. Or if we're keeping them humble and plain in the looks department, at least have personality traits that make them attractive, such as being funny, being easygoing and friendly, loyal, or very intelligent. Number 3, I couldn't help but wonder how CARRIE Bradshaw afforded her life. I do feel like this one applies to TV more often than novels, but it's still a common offender. We'll have characters that don't have 6-figure salaries that can afford designer clothes, a giant apartment, and travel 6 months out of the year. Their debt is never addressed, nor the means of their lavish lifestyle. Make sure your character isn't living in a fantasy, or at least has a realistic reason for their incredible life. Maybe they're great at saving money and using coupons, had a scholarship to college, or they've inherited money from their family. Give us something that explains how they can afford this, otherwise it'll pull us out of the story. Number 4, as you know, this offender often comes from movies, and it is the standard, as you know, Karen, and then they launch into exposition about something Karen already apparently knows. As you know, Karen, my dad was really sick and left me a giant inheritance, and now my family is squabbling over it. It's not for Karen's benefit, but for the audience's. Find a more clever way of working exposition into the story instead of having characters communicate things that they already know, but that we need to be caught up on. Number 5, this is the exciting, amazing, unbelievable 5th point. Have you ever gotten so distracted by the number of adjectives used to describe something simple? In J.K. Rowling's Cormoran Strike novels, under the pen name Robert Galbraith, they've kind of been hit or miss, and it's because of the excessive description. While it does work in Harry Potter to describe fantasy settings and magical elements, it does not work when describing things I see and use every day, like doors and stairs. I seriously got so distracted by the sheer number of adjectives and descriptions that I couldn't concentrate on the story. I know one of the first rules of storytelling is show, don't tell, but there is a line. Number 6. There's a glitch in the matrix. Haven't we read this scene or gone over these details before? I couldn't even finish the 50 Shades of Grey series because of the severe repetition. I mean, the story had a slew of other serious problems, but I could swear that sex scenes or conversations were straight up copy and pasted throughout the books. Repetition can be good to cement an idea or call attention to something important, but when it feels like we're seeing the same scene over and over or rehashing the same conflict over and over again, it becomes tedious and feels like manufactured conflict and tension. There's no reason to care because we've already seen the characters resolve this issue, only to bring it back up again. Number 7. Are we still talking? Let's be honest. There are some formalities of everyday conversation that are quite boring and definitely do not need to be replicated on the page. Conversation in novels, TV shows, and movies aren't how we talk in real life, and that's okay. These conversations are meant to serve a purpose and further the plot or character's arc. Readers do not need to see everyday exchanges of, "Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thanks. And you? Oh, I'm fine." We get it. Let's skip ahead to the good stuff, since we can't do that in the real world. So, what annoys you or gets your attention? The bad kind, when you read novels. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on Fiction Files.